BraveHeart Women's Show. We have Simran here with me in Mexico, and on the other screen we have her mother, Shalou. And both of these beautiful women are master practitioners. Shalou is from Barrie. I guess you're both from Barrie, obviously. And both of you are down here in Mexico for a little while. Shalou, are you missing Mexico?
Don't rub it in my face. Oh my God, am I missing Mexico? Seriously, how could you not? A beautiful sunny day every day, gorgeous sunsets, amazing food, the most high-vibing people. Yeah, I'm missing Mexico.
And her, and she was here.
Oh, and her, of course, and her.
Right. And oh yeah, and my daughter. So Simran, you were down here and you were finishing up your master practitioner.
Yes.
Okay, so now tell us. You're a master practitioner and
I'm ready to travel and help teach other people about the non-surgical and how they can help themselves, as well as the pelvic restoration disease prevention course that I'm assisting with, just to educate people on how to take care of themselves.
So Shalou, how long have you been practicing the Doc of Detox?
I've been studying with Daryl for over 3 years, but I actually got my first certification in June of 2021. So I started practicing as soon as I came back. So I'm coming up to like 2 years of actually practicing it. And I can't believe how quickly the time has gone, and what an amazing journey. Like, yeah, it's mind-blowing, the things that I witness every day, and people healing themselves, taking that massive personal action and just turning their lives around. I swear it's the best feeling in the world. I am so honored to be able to be a witness to their journey to self-healing. So it's amazing.
So as you're both practitioners, this is going to be so great because you guys are going to be able to feed off of each other. You're going to, you're going to be able to come to Simran and ask questions, right? Not the reverse, but because you are the mom, and you have been practicing for longer. But why were you inspired by your mom to take this? Why have you followed this path? Would your mom have anything to do with it?
I've always been passionate about helping people, and I didn't know what that looked like for me career-wise. I wanted a job where I could help people, travel, and just not be stuck in one place. And for the longest time, I didn't know what that looked like. And then she took the course, and when they came to Barrie, she's like, just take the whole life and see. And where I was at in my life, I was like, yeah, I can benefit from this. I wasn't even planning on taking the non-surgical. And I'm glad I ended up doing it. Daryl and Lori came for dinner, and he's like, are you taking the non-surgical? I was like, no, I'm just doing the whole life. He's like, why not? Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't think about it. And he explained it to me a bit more. I had only had my mom work on me a few times and kind of explain it, but not fully in depth. So he explained it more, and I was like, okay, I'll take it. And I'm really glad I did, because I've never been so passionate and happy and excited about a course before in my life. School didn't feel it was for me. But this was, I love the way it's taught, because you hear it, they read it to you, you see it, and then you have to do it. And those three things are how I learn. So it was
all three.
Yeah.
Well, I hear it, I see it, and I do it.
Well,
I'm one of those special learners, Shalou.
I'm a more hands-on learner. So the fact that all three of those things are incorporated in it just helps it stick more in my brain. And I got positive feedback from everybody I partnered with in the class, so that gave me the extra confidence of, I'm good at this. I enjoy it. And I love helping people. And
you know why she's so good? Because she is detail oriented. And once she finds something, she's in there to get it out. So it makes her amazing, because nothing gets past her. It's so good.
That's so great. So just going back to you ended up taking the Wolf non-surgical. Okay, but you also took the whole life coach.
Yeah.
Okay, and how could you have just taken the non-surgical without it? The whole life coach, does it feed into?
Yeah, it most definitely feeds into it. I didn't know about how the emotional creates the physical. I never really understood that before. And feeling at, like, before I took the course, my mom had worked on my upper back specifically 3 times. And I would come home from work, I was serving at the time, and I'd come home with like a shooting pain in my back, almost in tears. Like, Mom, it hurts so bad. She's like, get in the chair. And she's like working on me. And the first 3 times she worked on me, it was just constant crying. And and it's not because she was hurt, like, it was hurting. I couldn't understand what it was. And she was explaining, like, and then she opened the book and she's like, these are the emotions you trap in your upper back. And when I heard it, it made sense. So I'm glad I took the whole life coach course, because there was a lot of stuff I needed to work on. And the non-surgical just like amplifies that more. If that makes sense.
So Shilu, how did you end up taking? You traveled to Kelowna?
I did. So my journey was because, I really stumbled upon Daryl accidentally. My dad had been suffering and trying to beat prostate cancer for 10 years. And after getting surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, hormone therapy, more chemotherapy, he was done. He was in pain from head to toe. And he would tell me, like, Shaw, I literally feel like someone is sawing at my bones. You couldn't hug him without hurting him. And he said to me, find me a naturopath. I can't do any more chemo. And so, I Googled naturopaths, whatever few names came up in my local area, I gave it to him. But you know how Google works. You check one thing and all these other related items come up. And all of a sudden, Daryl started showing up on my Facebook feed. And the more I listened to him, I'm like, this guy speaks my language. I got to meet him. I got to talk to him. So that's why, because he was in Kelowna, I'm in Ontario, and I owned 2 or 3 restaurants at that time. I was like, I can't leave, but I want to really learn from you. So he said, look, start showing to the weekly meetings and go to my library and start taking the courses there. So I actually was studying with him for almost a year before I was able to, get to Kelowna. And I had no idea what I was stepping into, right? I just knew I liked the way this guy thinks, and talk about mind blown. Like, I thought I was going there to save someone else. Yet I came out of there finally saving myself.
Wow.
And life has never been the same since, thankfully, in a good way. It's been fantastic. And I remember I would come back and I'd have conversations with Sim going, I don't know how this is going to work, because I have 4 other adults in the house that didn't take the course. How am I going to do this? What if they don't come along? What if they don't buy into everything I just believe now? And thankfully, she was the first one to sort of support me and go, you know what, Mom, this is making sense. Because even I think over the phone, I just gave her the BraveHeart oath. And I said, just start, every day, just do this. And by the time I came back, she's like, just doing the mirror work has changed, Mom, like something's shifted. Right?
You dove right into the mirror work.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Where I was at in my life, things I was going through, I was like, I need something. So she's like, just say this to yourself anytime you look in the mirror, like first thing in the morning before bed, and then anytime you look in the mirror during the day. And with the job I had to drink a lot of water, so I was constantly in the bathroom. So I was saying it like at least 5 times a day.
That's a really good trick, isn't it? To be able to, because mirror work is not easy to, well, you know what? I shouldn't say that. For a lot of people, mirror work is really challenging, because you really get in there and close and personal with yourself and look into your eyes and I love you and the BraveHeart oath. And a lot of people, they can't look into their eyes, they can't, so to have that sort of that rule, right? Every time I walk in the bathroom, I walk in with a smile, and I greet myself in that mirror with a smile and I say, I love you. like, I love you, and or go through the oath or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really good trick to share with people, because people don't, what am I, oh, I'm going to get up in the morning, and yeah, you're going to do that too. Right.
Well, you look in the mirror to get ready.
Mhm.
So you could just take, it doesn't take long to say it.
See, but that's the difference. People look in the mirror, but they don't look in their eyes.
Yeah.
They'll look at the pimple on the face, the lines that are there, the scars that are there. They won't look themselves in the eye. And the relationship does not happen until you look yourself in the eye. And, you know, for me, I had all the self-help books. I got Wayne Dyer's, all the audio tapes. I've got the secret. And I'm like, why doesn't this stuff work for me? Why? And the missing link was the self-love, which Daryl was able to get me to finally put that piece in.
Yeah. Crack the coconut, as he says.
Yeah.
Put the love, put your own, give you an opportunity to open up and love yourself, or at least give it a shot, right?
Try to.
Start to.
Yeah.
It takes lots of work. So, okay, so you shared this with Simran, your daughter, and now she's blossoming into this amazing practitioner. And so, are you guys going to be able to, or what do you see? How do you see your relationship with your mom sort of now moving as a practitioner?
Definitely like working together in her clinic, but I do want to travel on the world tour to go for my doctorate, so I have to help with assisting the 3 courses, training, and all of that, as well as the pelvic course. So I will be gone a lot, but when I'm back, I will be helping, because she's been super busy with her Celsonic and then the cardio bed now and everything she has. So once the clinic is fully set up and everything, I'm definitely going to help with that. But I do want to travel as well.
Yeah. No,
And
for sure. And I
help
don't think your
people
mom's going to stop you from traveling.
No, we're rearranging the office so we can have 2 rooms, so we don't have to fight for the time or the space. So you can be doing treatments in one room and I can do in the other. So we're already looking into all of that. Yeah. No, it's exciting. And honestly, it doesn't matter that she's my daughter. When it comes to this, she's an equal. She's as qualified as I am, right? She has the same knowledge that I do. So it'll be amazing to have that collaboration with someone else who knows and can, understand the lingo, as we say.
Yeah, no, it's right. And maybe has another little, oh, mom, but this and that. And oh, okay.
Yeah.
Able to use the feedback.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be amazing, because not everyone, we see the miracles because we are doing the work and helping people. Not everyone you can talk to about that, because they just look at you like, well, yeah, right, whatever, right? So it'd be exciting to be able to just share, look, this is what happened, right? So yeah.
Yeah, with one of your most favorite people in the whole world.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. Do you have any questions you want to ask Simran?
I have a couple questions, because a couple of them you already asked. First off, I know a lot of people asked me what it felt like for me to be in the pelvic restoration course with my daughter helping training. I want to know from Sim, how did you feel, right? Helping in such an intimate setting and such an intimate course. How did you feel with me being as one of the participants?
Honestly, I didn't think about it too much. It was just when it came to the yoni egg, it was a little weird. So I tried to stay on the other side of the class. But I don't know, like, we're both women. We've never talked about any of this stuff, so that's why I felt
You've never talked about this stuff?
No, not really, or at least not that I can remember.
No, not about yoni eggs. I mean, when stuff came up, we talk about stuff as it comes up, but it wasn't like I didn't even know about these things until I think I read 50 Shades of Grey. There was something about it in there. But other than that, I have no idea. So it's like we're going through this journey together. We're both learning, right?
Yeah. Well, I remember this one time back when you had Herb and Sage, and I finished a shift, and Big Dan was there, and I sat down with him to eat, and you were coming to eat, and it was in the early stages of my last relationship, and you got up to go get something, and he vaguely like was trying to just make sure I'm ultimately like you're being safe, right, and all this stuff, and I was like, yes. Like I was like, did mom get him to talk to me about this? Like it was so funny. I like keep laughing about it, just thinking about it. Cause he like Big Dan, like he was like an uncle to me. So it was a funny situation. And I was
Big
like,
Dan gave you the talk?
yeah, like a very brief talk. And then my mom came back and we all ate and didn't say anything. So that was funny. But yeah, you didn't really talk to me about any of that stuff, really. I was too shy to ask anything, and I don't know. I feel like I don't think you talked about it with your mom.
Oh no,
Yeah,
my mom, she didn't know. That never happened, right? Because you don't talk about stuff like that. Like I remember getting my period and my mom going, "Great, more expenses."
Wow.
Yeah. So you just, I mean, I was excited. I wasn't, I mean, but it's a whole different culture. It's a whole different
So it's
life,
culture. Is it the culture that
Well,
you're
you know what?
best?
I think so. Some of it, like you don't talk about stuff like that, right? You just, it's like if you watch some of the Indian movies, in certain villages, you're not even allowed to sleep in the same house when you're on your period. It's like it's dirty, it's filthy. You need to sleep in a separate quarter.
Wow.
You can't be there, right? So it's like I said, it is what it is, But as far as like moving forward, a lot of people ask me, and I said, well, in the circle when we went around and said, why are you learning this? It was all like, oh, so I can go share it with my daughter and my granddaughter and I can teach them, right? That there's nothing to be ashamed of, that there's nothing to be so fearful of or to feel bad or guilty or,
Dirty.
there's just all that dirty, like none of that, right? That this is how you take care of yourself. Like it's the total opposite of what they've made you believe,
Mm-hmm. What is it?
right?
The palace? What's it called?
the
Ovarian palace.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, right?
Right? And as I was there as not as an instructor, but observing everything, which sounds creepy, but it really wasn't creepy.
You were the video person, yeah.
I was videoing. Wait, hang on a second. No. And I was just looking at all the different people that were in the pelvic restoration and disease prevention course and all the reasons why these people were there, right? So like 24-year-old and mom, right? And then older all the way up to 70, however old, and the culture and it was really interesting to me because because I also have a daughter, a 14-year-old daughter, who's very open to share. But again, similar to you, Shalou, my mom she was similar but different. She was just overpowering and I just shut it all out. I was like, you need to stop talking now and I just shut it out. So it made me uncomfortable. But then my daughter came to me with this, all these questions. And of course I'm going to answer. I'm not uncomfortable to ask them. I just couldn't bring them up. Right. So it sounds sort of like you were in a similar kind of a situation. And then to be both in the course, which was teaching both of you at the same time, I assume.
Yeah, no, it was certainly amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome. Aw.
All right. One of my goals as a parent was always that, I am now 54 years old and I feel like I finally landed on my life. Like the last 2 years have been so amazing. And I'm so grateful for Daryl's teachings and just everything how taking his course has just turned my life upside down in a good way, right? And but my prayer always was before that, you know, if I can save my children 20 years of agony, I will feel like an accomplished parent. And when I look at Simran, I I feel that I've kind of done that, right? By just taking massive personal action for me, which kind of dripped on her, and then she took massive personal action to do this. So, Sim, is there something you'd like to share with other young people? Because I mean, in the clinic, I see every day all these broken adults, you know, 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old, and many of them can't even look themselves in the mirror to do the mirror work. They're crying before I even bring the mirror around because they have no relationship with self, right? So what would you like to say to other young people, right, that are maybe coming across this and going, why should I do this? Is it really all that? You know, how is it going to help me? What would what would you like to say or share? How has it impacted you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, taking the whole life, I did 2 whole life coach courses with Asia, Alicia's daughter,
My daughter.
and seeing the changes from her from the first one to the second one. And I think she had done it one time before that. I just wasn't in her class. But seeing the difference in her and then hanging out with her more and just talking more, like the change alone. And like we try to motivate each other, like, okay, we'll message each other when we do the mirror work in the morning and before bed, like 10 times. We need to do it, and we'll message each other when it's done. And then we obviously don't always remember to message each other when you see, we're like, did you do it? Did you do it? Like we hold each other accountable. And like it's nice when you have someone to do something with, and it's not just you. And it shouldn't also feel like a chore. But just that alone, and then also sharing and being around people who are wanting to take massive personal action for themselves and start doing better and like changing their mindset, it does rub off on you. And I saw that in her. And her and I both partnered for the couples connection in the first one and the second one. And in the first one, it was kind of harder for us to connect. And she said she didn't really feel anything. And I was having a hard time as well trying to. And the second time, it was so different. And just, we both had different visions of, and like things that I was thinking and like kind of sending to her, she heard when she was looking into my eyes. And it was just crazy to have that. Like I was like saying, like, you're safe. Like I was like, you're safe, we're safe. And just saying like positive things like that. And she's like, yeah, or I saw 2 people, or a mix of like the 2 of us or something, like playing in water. And then she heard the like, you're safe and everything. I was like, that's so crazy. Like I was saying that in my head. And just, yeah, she's 14 and she's come so far already. And I'm 25 and I've like only been doing this 4 months. I feel like I've been doing this for like 2 years. It does not feel like I just started this 4 months ago. And I see the changes in me, and I still have a ways to go, but just in 4 months of me taking the massive personal action and wanting, like, just working hard, like, how far I've already come. It's just, I hope my friends, because I know the struggles that they have, and just every young person now struggles with depression, anxiety. Like, they go to their doctors and say, oh, you need to take these pills for your anxiety. And like, they're like, they tell me I don't want to take the pills. And I'm like, you don't have to, but you have to do these things. But again, it's people have to take personal action for themselves.
Imagine, Shalou, if we had been handed or given this information even 20 years ago, never mind 35 years ago, sort of a thing. Imagine the life that these girls, these young people are going to be able to just like explode. I mean that in the best possible way, right? But be able to just be so confident and so in love with themselves that it just doesn't even matter what you think, like Like, I'm all about
I'm
me.
getting chills just
I know,
thinking
me
about it. Like, I'm like, oh, this is so exciting.
Yeah, so to hear, you know, what you experienced over the last 4 months and be able to now step outside of your friend group and be like, I remember you saying, I don't know what we're going to talk about, you know, because they're so different. And I think that's part of the challenge, that's part of the path that we've chosen to take, that you do end up, you know, going off on your own, but it doesn't feel like you're alone. It's like we have a whole nother family, you know?
Yeah.
And
Just the 9 days alone in the whole life. Like, you do create different families each time you take the course.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's really cool.
yeah, so
All right. Last question.
sure.
After processing your emotions and strengthening your relationship with yourself, Sam, is there anything you need from me to complete the healing process?
I don't know.
You're gonna make me cry, Shalou.
Just continuing to be there for me when I need you to be.
The mama.
Yeah, like I am, like, I'm on this journey alone, but also with you. So just I don't know. I don't really have an answer for that.
All right. Well,
Continue to do what you're doing.
just know that I love you. I am so proud of you. And I'm always here. Okay? I'm here. So whenever you need, let me know. But I could not be more proud of, you know, I don't know. Like, I mean, as she said, it's only 4 months. And what started off with just a little nudge to just take the whole life coach, right? To then her deciding to not only take the non-surgical, but then to take the second non-surgical. Honestly, no, I need to say this because my heart is exploding. I am so proud of you. And it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. You should see everyone at the restaurant is waiting. When is she coming back? They want to hear all about, you know, I'm like, well, she's coming back, but I don't think she's coming back to serving. You know what I mean? We'll have to do the Simran show, just like Daryl fills it. We'll get everyone in there to come see Simran and you can fill them in. Okay? Because they want to know, they want to see you. And girl, you're going to set the world on fire in a good way. So just go have fun. I told them she's in, you know, Calgary in July, and then in, you know, maybe in Australia in August, UK in September, Croatia in October, and they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, my little Simi, she's flying free. It's amazing. So I'm so proud of you and I love you.
Aww.
Me too.
Beautiful. Well, thank you both for your time. Now that you have us all crying, Shalou. That is so great. So, Shalou, tell me, really briefly, when can people come to Barrie? When are people coming to Barrie to see
They're
you?
coming to Barrie May 25th and June 4th. There's 2 lectures that are free and at the restaurant. And then May 26th, right through till June 30th, we've got course after course after course, which they can, you know, go to NWP and find out about that, or just call me 705-828-2257 and I'll hook you up.
Excellent. And the next course, are you going to Stewart, Florida?
For the pelvic course.
For the
yes.
pelvic course.
Yeah.
So Stewart, Florida is the next course that's coming up. So do you go home in between?
Yes. I fly home in 6 days.
Oh, okay. And then out to Stewart, Florida. Again, NWPWorldTour.com. You can find out the dates. And we've got courses coming up in Chicago. We've got, like you said, Barrie, Calgary, Alberta in Canada, UK. We've got Croatia, which is where I'm going for my birthday. You're going to UK for your birthday. That's the plan anyway. And then where else do we have? Australia in Coffs Harbour. So you know what's kind of fun about, sorry, I'm just going to go on here for a second, but you know what's kind of fun the way I've envisioned this. So there's all of these courses that are going on around the world. So when I initially decided to come to Mexico or not, I saw the course, and I'm like, oh man, I would love to take that course. I said, but I'll never go to Mexico. Now I'll never go to Mexico. And then one day I was like, well, why wouldn't I go to Mexico? Right? So I just was like, okay, well, I'm going to Mexico and I'm going to take a course. So my thought with these courses that are around, it's like, wow, we really could use a holiday in Florida, you know? Well, what could we do while we're in Florida? Well, let's go take these courses while we're in Florida. Or I've never been, I mean, I think Barrie in the spring is probably beautiful. It's probably the best time of year, right? So I've always wanted to go to Canada, and let's go to Barrie and we can course as well. You know, sort of a thing. So I think wrapping your head around, you're not just going necessarily just to take the course, or you're not going just for a holiday, but why not make it
and there are days off in between, so you can take a day road trip. There's beautiful places near Barrie, just north of Barrie, even south. Like, there's so much to see. So
awesome. All right, my friends. Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for joining us at the BraveHeart Women's Show, and we will see you next week. Bye.
bye.
Bye. Take care.
Love you.
Love you too. See you in 6 days, Seb.